Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody. We're going to go ahead and hop right into today's webinar on Sage Intacct Easy Fixes. My name's Rosanna. I am the support manager here at ETHOSystems, and I support the Sage Intacct product. I am based in Redding, California, so super far Northern California. Please keep in mind that when you see my demo instance, it's not going to look like yours. It is a demo instance. It's multi-entity and multi-currency as well. And I literally have every module within Intacct enabled. So you're going to see things that are different from what you see. That's okay. This is just meant to be a high-level overview. We're not going to really get into the weeds of things. We're just going to keep it very high level and just take it one step at a time. Please feel free to throw any questions in the chat, and I will do my best to answer them here. Or if it's something that's a little more in depth, or maybe I don't have the answer to right off the top of my head, I'll definitely take note of your name and circle back to you. Permissions and visibility. I'm not showing you the slide. The slide, I'm using it to keep me on track. So you're not going to see this slide, but I'm basically what we're going to cover here is verifying a role and user permissions. If they don't have the underlying access, they meaning your users cannot view the report. Checking the report level access and then ensure there's no entity or department level restrictions. I'll show you what I mean, but just before I hop in, what I see a lot of, and it makes sense, you have a new user and you want them to have access to certain reports. They go to log into the report and they either can't see the report at all, they don't have the ability to click run, or they can run it, but they aren't seeing the information as you would expect. I'm going to say 99.9% of the time, it is a permissions issue or restriction issue. So, and I'm going to keep this very high level because when it comes to permissions and visibility within Intacct, as many of you know, there's so many layers, right? And I can't get into every scenario here. That is its own webinar in and of itself. So I'm going to keep this very high level and just kind of go over some things that I've noticed a lot of people forget to look at or don't know to look at. All right, so I'm going to start with a report. So let's go here. I have a report in mind that I would like someone, Jerry, we'll use Jerry to have access to. So we'll go to reports, report center, and once the report pulls, okay, this is the report. So Jerry needs to be able to run this report. I'm not going to actually run it, but I am going to show you the structure of this report, of how it's built, right? So we're going to go here, and we clicked on edit mode. We're going to go to filters. As you can see, this report is built to when you pull it, it's automatically going to run everything filtered. It's not going to run everything. I'm sorry. It's going to run, but it's going to be filtered by the finance department. So this balance sheet report, when Jerry goes to click run, it will run for the finance department. And Jerry goes to do that and gets an error message or just can't run it. You look at Jerry's permissions. I'm going to click on over here now because I want to go to Jerry's user record. And you're like, I gave Jerry all the needed permissions to this report. Jerry has the proper role. What's going on? Oh my goodness, the report is broken. The number one issue, whenever there is a report, specifically financial reports, really in the structure, well, custom reports as well, but right now I'm talking about financial reports. If within the structure of the report, it is set to have a particular filter, whether it be by department, like in this one, you can also do location, right? You could do, I want this report to only run for, whatever location you choose. And then a user can't access it. Something that I've noticed a lot of users forget to check is if we go to the user record and we click edit, if you go here, it looks like Jerry is limited to only seeing data, whether it's reports or transactions, whatever the case may be, for these two departments. Jerry doesn't have access to see any financial data. So a department restriction means that that user is restricted to only seeing information on the departments here. Same idea with entity restrictions, right? An entity restriction means that user only has access to view information for the entities that are listed here. There are a couple ways, there's so many ways we can set Jerry up to be able to see this, but the easiest way, if there's no reason for Jerry to have department restrictions, just remove them completely from his user record by clicking this trash icon, okay? We can go ahead and do that now. Actually, let's see here. I'm not going to do that now because I don't remember what my password is for this demo, but you could just do that. You'd enter your password and go from there, right? Or you can set this report to not have any department filters or entity, filters for it, right? You can set it to not have any. However, if you keep those two department restrictions on Jerry's user, when Jerry goes to run this report, you can expect that Jerry will only be able to see the data for the two departments Jerry has access to, right? So you just kind of have to figure out what you want Jerry to see, okay, and how you want him to see it. Again, I can go into so much more here, but we don't have time. And again, that's its own webinar. Now, there are two report types within Intacct that have permission levels additionally set at the report level, right? The ones that don't, I'm just going to name those, are your standard reports. When I say standard reports, I mean out of the box reports. For example, in AP, any report you see over here is out of the box, right? General ledger, any report you see here is standard out of the box report. Okay. Now, the report we're working on right here is a financial report. This report, you can actually set permissions at the report level. So let's just say, once again, let's use Jerry as an example. Let's just say Jerry's not restricted to any departments. He has all the access within his role. Here's his role right here, right? You've reviewed the role. He has all the underlying permissions in his role, but still can't see the report. If it's a financial report, you're going to come here to permissions. So you're going to find the report, go to edit mode, go to this permissions tab. And as you can see, this report has an exclusion list. This report is excluding everybody. So what that means is in order for a user or a user group, because you can create user groups as well, to have access to this report, you have to go here and line by line add them. So you can either do it by user or group. We're just going to do user, and let's look for Jerry, okay? There's Jerry. Let's add Jerry. And then we could save this. I'm not going to save it though. And then Jerry would then be able to see the report. The other report type that you can set report level access to is going to be ICRW. Not going to talk a lot about ICRW today, but here's how you would do that. So you'd go, sorry, I'm moving too fast. I apologize. We go here, here, go to your ICRW reports. And with ICRW, it's very similar to your financial reports, the report level permissions. However, these are all my ICRW reports. You'll find the ability to set the access here under advanced settings. And if you look here, it's almost it's pretty much identical to the way it functioned in financial reports. Okay. And one more note on permissions. I'm just going to reset, go back home here. You have to be sure that a user also has the underlying permissions for the report. Here's what I mean by that. If a report has any department data, location data, customer, vendor data, things like that, but your user does not have that access assigned in their role, they won't be able to see the report either. Let me show you. Let's use Jerry as an example. Again, Jerry's our friend. So as you can see here, Jerry has the role owner read only. There's a couple ways to access role to review the permissions that live within the role. I'm going to do it from here, the user record. So let's just say Jerry is running a report. It could be a financial report, standard report, and that report has information in regards to locations and departments. But for whatever reason, you don't know why Jerry can't see the report. You have to be sure that Jerry has the permissions within the company module to those dimensional values, right? So, let's say, Jerry has all, you review Jerry's permissions, he has all the permissions, right? Well, what a lot of people don't realize is you have to look at the company permissions and the company module for the role that you've assigned to your user. As you can see here, Jerry does not have department permissions, so he's not going to be able to see the report because the report is referencing departments, right? That is what we mean. That is what Intacct means when they say underlying permissions, right? Locations, if Jerry didn't have locations, that would be why. So just depending on the dimensional values in this report, you got to be sure that your user has those dimensional access within the assigned role. Side note, whenever you update permissions within a role, like I was about to do here, it updates the permissions in the role, which means every user assigned to that role will now have that new level of permissions that you updated. So you would need to make a decision of if you're going to update the role, you have to be okay with the fact that it's going to update it for all of your users. If you don't want that, then you might want to consider creating a new role for the user you want to give additional access to. Okay, so we covered permissions and visibility. All right, so let me reset everything here because now we're going to go in to our next section.